Good morning, darling. Right, so here it goes. This is the process of making a sourdough loaf from start to finish. So that is my jar of starter, and it's just come from the fridge. Okay, it's quite a low level, and I shall now feed that with 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. That's the sourdough starter I just mentioned to you. Now we're going to add 50 grams of plain white flour. There we go, 50. And then we're going to add 50 grams of water. That'll do. And then I'm going to give that a stir and leave it to rest. So it's been about 40 minutes, and you can see that it's starting to rise above the elastic band. Okay, we'll check back again a little bit later. So here we are again. It's been just over 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes, and it's doing really, really well. Back again. So it's been just over an hour since we left the starter to start and grow, and I'm going to get the dough ready, nice and relaxed. So switch it on. 0, very good. I'm going to add 200 grams of plain flour. That'll do. And I'm going to add 200 grams of wholemeal flour. Always that last couple of grams that are a pain in the backside. Come on. 400, there we go, right. Give that a little quick stir. I'm just going to reset that back to 0. We're going to add a little splodge of oil, just a tiny splodge. Let me just show you how much, okay? Just really a few grams. Yeah, so 14 grams, that'll do as far as I'm concerned. And now we're going to get some cold tap water, and we're going to take that 14 up to 260 grams. So that represents 65% weight of flour, water rather, 65% weight of water to flour. Okay. Last little gram. If it's slightly over or under, it doesn't matter. There we go. That's fine. Perfect. Okay. Right. I'm going to take that off the scales. And I'm just going to get myself a nice fork and give that a bit of a mix until it's a bit of a shaggy mess. Okay. So we're back. It's a bit of a shaggy mess. I think it's a little bit too dry, so I'm going to add an extra 5 grams of water. Okay, so that was 260 plus 5 is 265 grams of liquid altogether. Remember, we put a little bit of olive oil in as well. 7 grams, that should do it. Okay, let me give that a little bit more of a mix. So we're back again. If you remember, I just added an extra 7 grams of water, and you can see that the flour has come together. It's quite dry, but you want to have enough water just so that it all comes together, okay? And we're just going to cover that with a towel now and leave it until we feel the sourdough starter is ready. And talking about the sourdough starter, let's have a look how it's doing. Oh, it's doing very, very well. So it's been about an hour and 10 minutes since we fed it. Okay, catch you later. Well, here we are again. It's been about an hour and a half since we started the whole process by feeding the sourdough starter, which I'd taken out of the fridge and was at room temperature. And as you can see, it's done really, really well. I'm happy to start using that now. It's very, very active. It's eating away and producing lots of gas, which is what we want. Put that here, ready to use. There's the dough that's been resting for a little while. Now we're going to add a level teaspoon of salt. There we go. There we go. And we're going to put that on one side. There we go. Right. press this and zero it. There we go. So we're going to pour about 100 grams of this starter into the dough. There it goes, lovely. I say about 100 grams because it doesn't matter if it's a little bit more or a little bit less, you know, it's not too exact. There we go, that'll do. Last little drips. Very gloopy mess. I'll clean that up in a minute, leave that for the time being. Right, so we're going to switch that off. And at this stage you would mix that by hand, Dominic, because you don't have one of these food processors. But we have one in the garage, which is very useful. There we go. Stick that down and switch it on. And we're going to leave that to do its thing for 10 minutes or so. Right, so here we are. It's been a bit more than 10 minutes of kneading. And let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that looks good. So it's come away from the side of the bowl, and that's good to go. Take it back into the kitchen. Okay, I'm just going to take that off the dough hook and show you what it looks like. 1 sec. So here we are again, the dough hook's off and it's there in the sink soaking away. And this dough, oh sorry about the noise, is lovely and springy, not too sticky. And what we're going to do now is just leave it there. Maybe just wet your hand a little bit and then just pat the dough so it doesn't get too dry. Leave it there with a towel over it for a few hours. I shall check back at regular intervals. Okay, so it's been just under 5 hours, and because we've left this at room temperature, it's taken this long. If you were to leave it in a warm place, it would take a bit less time. But there it is, we're good to go. I floured my wooden proving basket, the Banaton that I told you about, but seeing as you don't have one of those, what you can do is use a normal bowl and a tea towel, which you put over the top. Put plenty of flour there in the tea towel and put your dough in here, as I'm going to do in the basket in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to see, I've never done this before, so excuse me if it doesn't work. I'm going to flour the surface a little bit, not too much, you don't want too much. And I'm going to turn this out of the bowl with a nice scraper that I've got. You've got to take care not to let too much of the gas out of the dough, okay? Because it's taken all this time to build up all that those lovely bubbles in there. And you kind of fold the corners in on themselves to make a nice round ball. Keep folding the corners in on itself, like that. Be gentle with it, don't stretch it too far. There we go. Maybe a little bit of flour on my hands. Keep tucking the corners in. What you want to do is you want to tighten the dough on the outside and flip it over and form a nice tight ball by tucking your hands underneath like that. See, that's a nice tight ball. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Then you kind of dust the top with flour a little bit, very gently, because you don't want it sticking to your proving basket, or indeed to your tea towel if that's what you're using. Right, so I've taken that dough ball and flipped it into the proving basket. Now you could put that in the towel that I showed you in the bowl, and I'm going to take an old shower cap and just put it over the top like that. And that can sit there for a couple of hours until our next stage. Back again, it's been a couple of hours and this is now looking ready for baking. So we take a casserole and we put it in the oven at 265 degrees. Right, that pan has been in there for about half an hour. The oven's ready. Here I've got a sheet of non-stick baking parchment that's very well loved and very well used. There's the dough in the basket, which I'm going to tip out. Now again, I'm not very experienced using this method of filming, so bear with me. Lovely. I'm going to take a big knife and I'm going to slash a pattern in the dough. That's in the oven for 20 minutes with the lid. Right, that's been in for 20 minutes at 265. Now the lid has got to come off. Oh, it's got a bit steamy here. Oh, look at that. That's risen beautifully already. Back in it goes. Turn it down to 230 for another 20 minutes. So here we are, that's been in for another 20 minutes and out it comes. Well, will you look at that? That doesn't look too shabby, does it? Well, Dominic, there you have it. Sourdough from beginning to end. Where are we now? 10 o'clock at night. We started at 11 o'clock this morning. If you keep the dough in a warmer place, it speeds the whole thing up. But the longer you take, the more delicious the taste of the sourdough. Good luck. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. Right, well, I've let this cool down and I'm going to have a go at slicing it just to show you what the inside looks like. Lovely and crusty, listen to that. Oh yes, this is a good one. Not too open. If you want these holes to be bigger, like a traditional sourdough, you make the dough a lot wetter. So we had 65% water to flour, maybe try 70% water to flour. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Good luck with your baking.